There are people who move through life as if everyone around them is just a piece on their personal chessboard. They push, test, provoke, and fully expect you to tolerate it, to explain it away, to stay. That's the narcissist's comfort zone. But even the most controlling narcissist has a weak point, the moment they feel their control over you slipping. In that moment, they are not a powerful predator. They're a frightened, unstable person who is terrified of losing power over you. Today we'll break down what actually makes a narcissist panic and how your reactions can quietly knock them off balance. I'm not talking about games or revenge. I'm talking about the situations where, for whatever reason, you still have to be in some contact with them, co-parenting, work, family, and you want to stop feeling like a helpless target and start feeling at least a bit more grounded and in charge of yourself. The first thing that triggers panic in a narcissist is when you respond differently to their usual manipulation. When you've been in a relationship with a narcissist for a while, you end up in their zone of influence. They've tested your triggers, they know what gets a reaction, and they're used to their tactics working. At some point, once they feel they have enough power, they stop pretending to be considerate. They might talk to you harshly, raise their voice, ignore your requests, and treat your opinion as irrelevant. It becomes the new normal. And then one day, instead of swallowing it, defending yourself, or crying, you calmly stop it. You interrupt the shouting, you end the conversation, you set a limit and stick to it. In that moment, they're hit with the realization that their power isn't absolute. For a narcissist, this is a shock. How is this person, who's supposed to be under my control, suddenly pushing back? First comes confusion, then retreat. Many narcissists are, in reality, cowardly bullies. As long as you're silent, they grow. Once you show that you have a voice and a boundary, they take a step back and may suddenly switch into politeness and good behavior to try to regain their old position. The second trigger is your honesty in places where they expect you to play along with their lies. A narcissist lives inside a distorted reality. They lie, exaggerate, hide their laziness or irresponsibility behind illness, urgent errands, or endless excuses. And what matters most to them is that people around them cooperate with that version of events. Imagine a coworker who was dying with a fever yesterday, dumped all their tasks on you, and today walks in cheerful and refreshed, counting on everyone to pretend nothing happened. They expect you to go along, to stay quiet, to normalize it. But instead you calmly say, without sarcasm or attack, "I'm surprised to see you feeling so well today. Yesterday you said you were close to 40 degrees. How are you now?" And that's it. You simply name reality. For them, it feels like a slap of truth. They're confronted with the fact they wanted to hide, and they realize their script didn't work. No scene, no drama, just clear words. That kind of honest reflection can be incredibly destabilizing for a narcissist. Third is exposure. This is often their deepest fear. A narcissist can live with many things, but not with people seeing behind the mask. They may humiliate you in private, manipulate, cross boundaries, and do some truly ugly things, but all of that is reserved for when the door is closed. On the outside, they wear a carefully curated image. Kind, charming, helpful, respectable. So when the truth starts to reach people whose opinion matters to them, bosses, authorities, respected figures, it hits them where it hurts most. Exposure is not about petty revenge. It's about refusing to keep covering for someone who is harming you. You're not revealing harmless quirks, you're putting destructive behavior in the open. The shame a narcissist has tried to unload onto you for years comes flooding back to them, and that hits the very core of their fragile self. A healthy person might feel shame when they're called out, but they don't usually carry the same level of buried, toxic secrets that many narcissists do. Under that mask, there can be a lot they desperately don't want anyone to see, and when those pieces surface, it feels like an explosion inside them. The fourth thing that makes them panic is losing control over your reactions. Their entire system depends on predictability. They need to know that if they send a message after 2 months of silence, you'll answer within minutes. That if they disappear and then return with a single "hey," they'll once again have access to you. When this works, it reinforces their sense of power. You're still available on demand. When it stops working, when you don't rush to respond, don't rearrange your schedule for a last-minute "let's talk." Don't immediately explain or justify yourself. They start calculating. How long does it take now to pull you back in? The more your responses slow down or disappear, the more their anxiety grows. It's essential to understand that their persistence isn't about deep love. It's a test. They're checking if you're still programmable. If you come back quickly, they relax and often devalue you even more because they're sure you won't leave. If your behavior changes, if you become less accessible, less predictable, less reactive, their sense of control erodes. And for someone whose whole identity is built on power over others, that loss of control feels like a threat to their very existence. Fifth is when you cut off communication and access completely. When you block all channels, stop giving them emotional reactions, stop sharing information about your life, they're left alone with themselves. That's the moment when they may throw everything at you. Sweet apologies, long messages, guilt trips, threats, smear campaigns, sudden epiphanies. But underneath all these tactics is one fact. They are panicking because you are no longer their source of supply. Ending contact isn't about punishing them, it's about protecting yourself. Without access to you, they can't re-enter your emotional space, can't keep reopening your wounds, can't continue treating your life as their playground. And finally, there's the most important point. A narcissist is driven by the need for control because deep down they feel profoundly insecure and ashamed. Their power lives in your involvement, in your reactions, your explanations, your willingness to keep playing. The moment you start behaving differently, calling things by their name, holding your boundaries, refusing to support their lies, choosing openness where they rely on secrecy, and when needed, stepping away completely, their system starts to crack. That's when they panic. And that's when, slowly but surely, you begin to get yourself back. If you recognized your own story in this, remember, your goal is not to teach them a lesson, but to stop being an easy source of emotional fuel. If this helped you see your situation a bit more clearly, like the video, subscribe so you don't miss future breakdowns, and share in the comments which of these points you've already lived through. Your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to finally step out of the narcissist's game.